is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from parts unknown, weighing in at 230 pounds, Mr. GSW.
Hello and welcome. My name is Mr. Gaming Sunday, and I am the owner of GSW. First of all, I would like to thank all those who watched the first season of Gaming Sunday Wrestling. It was a great first season. In this video we will recap the first season of Gaming Sunday Wrestling, beginning at episode 1 of Proclamation and ending with GSW Supernova. This video is perfect for everyone, whether you watched the entire series thus far or are just looking to get into it now before the launch of season 2. Well, without further ado, let the recap begin. In the first episode of Gaming Sunday Wrestling's Proclamation, we saw the debut of the Silver Gaming Sunday World Championship. We were also introduced to the Technician Group 11, the brawler known as the Boy, and the High Flyer Conquest. All three men fought bravely in a triple threat, but Group 11 ultimately won the Gaming Sunday World Championship by making Conquest tap with his finisher, the deadly single-leg Boston Crab. In the second episode of Proclamation, I made my debut and introduced myself as the owner of Gaming Sunday Wrestling. But that wasn't for vanity's sake. I did it to announce that Conquest vs. The Boy would follow my promo, with the winner facing Group 11 for the title. Ultimately, Conquest won the match with his top rope finisher, the Conquering, but The Boy did not despise Conquest for his victory as the two men shook hands after their match. In the third episode, Conquest took on Group 11, but he failed to capture the title as Group 11 made him tap once more with his single-leg Boston Crab. But Group 11 was not done with Conquest. After the match he grabbed a chair, but his beatdown was stopped by the Boy, who ran down to the ring to help his friend. In the next episode, Group 11 explained that he attacked Conquest because he wrestles while Conquest only does flips. He wanted to establish his dominance over him. But unluckily for the champion, I came out to let him know that he would be taking on the Boy and Conquest in a tag team match. Group 11 somehow managed to find a partner for his match as the powerhouse only known as the Masked Man made his debut. Group 11 and Conquest spent much of the match fighting each other outside the ring, but the ending to the match was controversial, as Terry the referee did not see the Boy's hand grabbing the ropes, resulting in the Masked Man winning the match for his team with a spinebuster. The episode ended with the Boy superkicking the Masked Man after the match. Episode 5 opened with the Boy calling out the Masked Man for a one-on-one match. The Masked Man accepted, and the Boy made him tap out as he picked up his first victory. In the second part of the episode, I complimented Conquest on his valiant efforts against Group 11 and gave him a choice of 2 matches, and this ultimately led to Conquest taking on and tapping out to Gaming Enforcers 1 and 2 in a handicap match. At this point, many fans started to question whether Conquest was worth supporting. Episode 6 was the last episode before the first GSW pay-per-view, GSW Golden Shower. During this episode, the Boy took on the debuting Flying Mystery, with the winner facing Group 11 for the title at the pay-per-view. Flying Mystery ultimately pinned the Boy, but he claimed that the only reason Flying Mystery won was because the Masked Man's music played during the match and threw him off. This ultimately led to the Boy attacking the Masked Man in the parking lot at the end of the episode. At the first Gaming Sunday pay-per-view, a fatal 4-way ladder match for the debuting Gaming Sunday meme title opened the show. Homer Simpson ultimately unpinned the belt in turn, beating Big Chungus, Peter Griffin and stuff. The Boy picked up another victory against the Masked Man as he made him tap with the Boy choke. Conquest also requested a match as a means to prove that he was not a joke. I booked him into a 2 out of 3 falls match against a mystery opponent. The mystery opponent was none other than the bawling powerhouse, the most stylish man in GSW, Rise and Grind, who ultimately embarrassed Conquest by securing a 2-0 falls victory by pinning Conquest twice with his finisher, the Rise and Fall. Group 11 main evented the pay-per-view, while debuting his new lush beard and the Golden Gaming Sunday World title, which he spray-painted himself. Group 11 retained the championship by making Flying Mystery tap out with his single-leg Boston Crab. In the post-pay-per-view episode, the Boy made Flying Mystery tap out to the Boy choke, but controversy struck once more as Flying Mystery's feet were under the ropes. After the match, Rise and Grind met the Boy in the ring. In the main event, Conquest took on the Masked Man. This was a high-stakes match as the loser would leave GSW. The audience did not take kindly to either man's lousy performances. Ultimately, Conquest remained in GSW as he pinned the Masked Man with his new finisher, the Conksalt. In the 8th episode of Proclamation, Big Chungus became the new #1 contender for the meme title by defeating Peter Griffin and stuff. The main event was set up by Rise and Grind, who claimed that the boy was just pretending to be a good guy and demanded a rematch for Flying Mystery and a match for himself. I appeared and set up a tag match between the team of Flying Mystery and Rise and Grind and the boy and a partner, so that both of them could give the boy pieces of their minds. The boy's partner was his protege, the man he had been training in secret, the vegan bruiser. But the boy's secret student did not help him as much as he hoped, as he could not break Rise and Grind's hold on the boy, ultimately leading to the boy tapping out to Rise and Grind. The 9th episode of Proclamation saw Homer Simpson retain his meme title against Big Chungus, and the rematch between the boy and Flying Mystery in a Falls Count Anywhere match, where ironically neither man left the ring. The match ended with the boy picking up the victory by choking out Flying Mystery with his boy choke. In the following episode, Flying Mystery defeated Conquest. It seemed that things were still looking grim for Conquest, even though he managed to remain in the company. In the main event, Rise and Grind took on the boy, with the winner becoming the #1 contender for the world title. Ultimately, Rise and Grind suffered his first loss thanks to the boy knee, as the boy became the new #1 contender. Episode 11 of Proclamation saw the birthday of the boy, who thanked everyone and booked a warm-up match for Group 11 before their bout at the upcoming pay-per-view. Before the main event, Flying Mystery took on the debuting giant known only as BFG, who ultimately picked up a win against Flying Mystery with an assist from Conquest. In the main event, Group 11 took on the Vegan Bruiser. Group 11 triumphed despite a cheeky chair shot to the head from the boy while Terry looked away. In the episode before GSW Rage Quit, Rise and Grind gloated about being right about the boy being evil and volunteered to beat both his and his students' asses. I fulfilled his wish by setting up a 3-on-3 match which saw Group 11, Rise and Grind and Flying Mystery take on the boy, the Vegan Bruiser, and Conquest. The match ended with Group 11 pinning the boy after Conquest failed to break the pin. At the second GSW pay-per-view, GSW Rage Quit, Homer Simpson retained his meme title by defeating Sheldon Cooper of Big Bang Theory fame after he answered an open challenge. We also had the Vegan Bruiser pick up his first win as he pinned Rise and Grind with the banana kick. Conquest decided the fun was over as he debuted a new entrance, gear, and moveset and made Flying Mystery tap out to his new finisher, Destroy Capitalism. In the main event, the Vegan Bruiser accompanied the boy to the ring as the brawler faced Group 11. Ultimately, the boy messed around and tapped out to Group 11's single-leg Boston Crab. In the post-pay-per-view episode, the Vegan Bruiser cut ties with the boy and set his sights on Group 11's championship, while Fruit embraced his new attitude of no more games as he perfected his gear and made Flying Mystery tap out to Destroy Capitalism once more. In the main event, Rise and Grind pinned BFG after the rise and fall. In episode 14 of Proclamation, Thanos became the new #1 contender for the meme title by winning a 5-man battle royal. Conquest was declared dead as the Highflyer took on the new name of Fruit. In the main event, Rise and Grind became the new #1 contender for the Gaming Sunday World title as he pinned the Vegan Bruiser after a vicious rise and fall. In the next episode, the Vegan Bruiser answered Fruit's open challenge. Fruit continued his winning streak as he knocked the Vegan out with a solid kick. In the main event, Group 11 defended his world title against Rise and Grind and retained as he made Rise and Grind tap, but the challenger put on a hell of a show. Episode 16 of Proclamation saw the Vegan Bruiser knock out Flying Mystery out with a punch, while in the main event BFG took on a familiar figure in the shape of the debuting Magic Man. BFG suffered his first loss in GSW as Magic Man pinned him with a deadly spinebuster. The 17th episode of Proclamation saw Thanos win the meme title as he pinned Homer Simpson. We also saw the return of the boy, except he was no longer the boy, the good seeped out of him and he was now the bad boy. He announced his return by mocking and attacking his former protege. Fruit got his revenge on Rise and Grind as he made him tap with Destroy Capitalism and became the new #1 contender for the world title. In the episode before Cheat Codes, the bad boy taught the Vegan Bruiser a lesson as he made him tap with the bad boy choke. In the main event, Fruit partnered with BFG as they took on Rise and Grind and Group 11. This match had a controversial ending as both Group 11 and Fruit were counted out. Tension was high before the pay-per-view. At GSW, Cheat Codes Homer had his rematch for his meme title against Thanos but failed to recapture what he once held. This pay-per-view saw the debut of the Cheat Codes match. In this match, no holds are barred, weapons are encouraged and eliminations are on. It is said that you need cheat codes to guarantee victory. The winner of the Cheat Codes match obtains the cheat case, which grants them the opportunity to challenge the world champion anytime they please, in any match type they want. The inaugural Cheat Codes match saw BFG, Rise and Grind, the Vegan Bruiser, the Bad Boy and Magic Man battle it out. Ultimately, Magic Man won the match after he dodged the Bad Boy's stepdad knee, formerly known as the Boy Knee, and spiked him with his deadly thumb to capture the cheat case. In the main event, Frood took on Group 11 for the title for the second time. Frood managed to escape Group 11's single-leg Boston Crab twice, but the third time proved fatal as Group 11 ended Frood's winning streak and retained his title with a tap from Frood. In the episode following the pay-per-view, Frood declared that he wanted to face Group 11 in a title versus career match, but I told him that Group 11 had to agree to the match before it was made official. BFG wanted to face the vegan after he made BFG tap in the cheat codes match. He got his wish and tapped to the vegan once more. Rise and Grind debuted a fresh suit, but it did not help him win in the episode's main event as Magic Man pinned him. Episode 20 of Proclamation saw Group 11 accept Frood's challenge under the condition that the winner of the match would be the first to score 2 falls. The mind games were in full force. We also saw Big Chungus become the new #1 contender for the meme title after pinning Sheldon Cooper in a fatal 4-way. In the main event, Magic Man took on the Bad Boy and pinned him after a flying headbutt. Episode 21 of Proclamation was truly historic. It opened with the Bad Boy complaining, but the vegan bruiser soon shut him up by getting his revenge as he pinned him after a huge top rope senton. The main event was Group 11 vs Frood, 2 out of 3 falls, career versus title. The match was a grueling affair, and it seemed that Frood would be leaving GSW as Group 11 scored the first fall by making him tap with the single-leg Boston Crab. But Frood wasn't done yet as he made history by making Group 11 tap with Destroy Capitalism. The score was now even, but Frood managed to lock in Destroy Capitalism once more and made Group 11 tap. On that day, Frood became the second ever Gaming Sunday World Champion and ended a reign that lasted 24 Gaming Sundays or 168 days. The 22nd episode of Proclamation was a Halloween special. It began with Magic Man declaring he would get his revenge on Frood, but the champion did not yet understand what he meant. We also saw Thanos retained his meme title in a defense against Big Chungus. The main event was a Halloween Battle Royal in which BFG, Magic Man, Flying Mystery, the Vegan Bruiser, Rise and Grind, and the Bad Boy dressed up. The winner of the match was BFG, who eliminated Magic Man last. Magic Man was not happy about his loss, so on the next episode of Proclamation he got his revenge by submitting BFG. The Bad Boy attacked Magic Man with a kendo stick after the match. Group 11 also made his return and announcement that he would be using his rematch clause at the next pay-per-view. This episode also saw the debut of Omega as he defeated Flying Mystery. On the episode of Proclamation before GSW Fists Up, Group 11 and Frood picked each other's opponents in warm-up matches. Group 11 took on and made Rise and Grind tap with the single-leg Boston Crab. Bad Boy also made an appearance and complained about Magic Man defeating him and challenged him to a match, but Magic Man beat him to the punch this time and beat him down with a chair. The Vegan Bruiser tapped in the main event as Frood secured another victory. The fourth GSW pay-per-view was GSW Fists Up. The show opened with Thanos retaining his meme title against Iron Man, who took up his open challenge. Next, we saw Omega make Flying Mystery tap with an armbar. BFG took on the Vegan Bruiser in an Iron Man match and won with a score of 2-1. Picking up his first victory against the vegan. The Bad Boy also took on Magic Man. The match was a fitting Extreme Rules match as their previous exchanges were quite physical. After an extreme bout and 2 deadly thumbs and a final spinebuster, Magic Man managed to somehow pin the resilient Bad Boy. His victory was hard-earned. In the main event, Group 11 hoped to regain his world title from Frood, but neither man left the building with the title as Magic Man attacked Frood mid-match and cashed in his cheat case to restart the match as a triple threat. With a spinebuster to Group 11 and a deadly thumb and pin combo to Frood, Magic Man captured Frood's title. He only held it for 4 Gaming Sundays or 28 days. In the post-Fists Up episode, Frood tried to enact his rematch clause, but the new champion was not one to take kindly to demands. This led to a beatdown of Frood, which put him out of action for some time. But another rematch took place as BFG took on the vegan. BFG managed to pick up another victory as Rise and Grind joined him at ringside mid-match, proclaiming to everyone that BFG and Rise and Grind were now a team. In the main event, Magic Man held an open challenge for the world title. Flying Mystery answered it, but Magic Man swiftly dealt with him and retained his title. On the 26th episode of Proclamation, I fined Magic Man £5,000 for what he did to Frood. The show opened with the Joker, 2019, beating Optimus Prime and Big Chungus in a triple threat and earning himself a spot in the meme match at the following pay-per-view. In the main event, the new team of Rise and Grind and BFG, known as The Accounting, took on the Vegan Bruiser and Omega. The vegan managed to get revenge as he scored the win for his team by making BFG tap. In the following episode, Magic Man held another open challenge, which was answered by the vegan. However, Our healthy hero did not manage to capture the title as Magic Man pinned him, thanks to a deadly thumb. We also had Stuff defeat Shrek and the Dark Knight Joker to earn himself a place in the upcoming meme match. Episode 28 began with Magic Man attempting to declare another open challenge, but the returning Bad Boy interrupted him. Bad Boy proceeded to tell Magic Man that he was a phoenix and that Magic Man's bullying would end in this episode. But what the Bad Boy said triggered Magic Man as he proceeded to reveal that he was the Masked Man and that Bad Boy was a bully as he crushed Magic Man's career prospects the first time round. But Bad Boy laughed at the notion. The Bad Boy claimed he made Magic Man's career when he defeated him, that he paved the path he walks now and that it was up to Bad Boy to end it tonight. But before they clashed, the accounting took on the Vegan and Omega, who called themselves the Vitamins now, once more. Unfortunately, Omega was pinned after a spinning BFB, BFG's finisher, and rise and fall combo. Magic Man managed to retain in the main event, however his victory was far from easy as even 2 consecutive thumbs of destruction were not enough to keep the Bad Boy down for the 3 count. What put the Bad Boy away was Magic Man's vicious spinebuster. But winning was not enough for Magic Man. He wanted to continue his beatdown after the match, but a returning Group 11 made the save. In the Christmas episode of Proclamation, Group 11 issued a challenge for the world title and Magic Man accepted. They would face each other at the following week's pay-per-view. The final meme triple threat was won by Walter White as he defeated Poe and Homer Simpson. In the main event, Omega took on Rise and Grind, with the winner picking the stipulation for their tag match at the pay-per-view. Omega put up a fight, but Rise and Grind pinned him after a mighty rise and fall. At New Year's Pain, Thanos defended his title against Joker, 2019, Stuff, and Walter White in an elimination fatal 4-way. The match ended with Walter White becoming the new meme champion after he eliminated all his opponents. The accounting took on the Vitamins in an Extreme Rules match. The accounting strategy was to treat the match as 2 singles matches as BFG fought the Vegan and Rise and Grind took on Omega. Ultimately their strategy succeeded as a BFB put the Vegan away. In the main event, Magic Man took on Group 11 and showed he had brains as well as brawn as he managed to neutralize Group 11 by not letting him use his deadly single-leg Boston Crab. A final shock happened at the end of the pay-per-view as Fruit returned and brawled with Magic Man on the entrance ramp to end the show. On the post-New Year's Pain episode of Proclamation, Frood confronted Magic Man once more, but this time he countered the champ's assault and declared that tonight would not be the day of the rematch. Instead, Frood would be getting rid of his ring rust. But before that, Group 11 confronted the accounting and faced Rise and Grind 1-1. Rise and Grind managed to avoid Group 11's single-leg Boston Crab and picked up his biggest victory yet as he pinned Group 11 after a huge rise and fall. In the main event, Frood took on Omega, but being the more experienced wrestler, Frood put Omega away with a mighty kick to the head. But Frood's celebration was cut short as Magic Man attacked, but Frood managed to counter his onslaught. In the 31st episode, Frood demanded his rematch, but I told him that the rematch was booked for next week and that if Magic Man tried anything before that his title would be vacated. The first match of the show was Thanos' rematch for the meme title, which saw Walter White retain. In the main event, Group 11 called out the accounting for a tag match and revealed his partner was none other than the Bad Boy. The match ended with the single-leg Boston Crab as Group 11 locked it in onto BFG, all while the Bad Boy watched his back. On the following episode, Magic Man finally took on Frood for the world title, but before that the Vitamins took on the team of Group 11 and the Bad Boy, who now had fresh new gear and called themselves the Bloody Goats. BFG attempted to interfere in their match, but Group 11 had his number and beat him up outside the ring. Group 11 ultimately picked up the victory for the Bloody Goats with his signature single-leg Boston Crab. After BFG's failed interference, Rise and Grind had a few choice words for him, but Magic Man offered them a chance at redemption. The main event was intense as the match seemed equal. The men were even after exchanging attacks, but Magic Man was not having it. He pulled out a steel chair from under the ring and disqualified himself by attacking Frood. After this, the accounting joined the champion in beating down Frood. In the 33rd episode of Proclamation, Magic Man explained his actions. He was not looking to defeat Frood but to crush him so badly that he would quit the company. Just like he forced the Masked Man to quit all that time ago. This was all part of Magic Man's vendetta against Frood. I proposed a Hell in a Cell match between Frood and Magic Man and the champion agreed. I also fined Magic Man £20,000 and told him he would take on Frood and 2 partners alongside the accounting on this episode. Frood revealed his partners to be none other than the Bloody Goats. Frood won the match for his team as he made BFG tap with the Destroy Capitalism as Magic Man was about to break the hold. The 34th episode of Proclamation saw Magic Man confront the accounting after the end of the last episode. He attacked BFG with a mighty thumb and challenged Rise and Grind to a match for the world title in the main event. Before that, Frood held an open challenge to warm up before his title match. His challenge was answered by a returning Flying Mystery who had a new look and attitude, but it was not enough to take down the number contender, leaving Flying Mystery disappointed. In the main event, Rise and Grind put up a fight, but Magic Man ultimately made him tap with the full Nelson hold. But it was not the end, as Frood jumped the champ after his victory and said that he would reclaim what was his. GSW Getting Even opened with Walter White's open challenge for the meme title, which was answered by his associate Jesse Pinkman, who managed to win the title, shocking everyone. The Accounting took the stage next and challenged the Bloody Goats to a rematch, which they accepted. The Accounting managed to win as Rise and Grind pinned Group 11 after a rise and fall, as BFG kept the bad boy busy outside the ring. In the main event, Frood took on Magic Man for the world title in a Hell in a Cell match. The cell could not hold them for long as a wall of the cell fell, and they ascended it. Rage had overtaken Magic Man as he tried to destroy Frood, going as far as smashing him with two mighty thumbs atop the cell, but he forgot the purpose of the match as Frood countered and put him through the cell ceiling. But Magic Man somehow kicked out after the fall, but won Destroy Capitalism later. He tapped. Frood ended Magic Man's reign of terror, which lasted 12 Gaming Sundays or 84 days. Frood also became the first ever two-time Gaming Sunday World Champion. On the post Getting Even episode, Frood thanked everyone for their support. Flying Mystery came out to congratulate the new champ, but it was all a dirty trick as he landed a low blow on Frood. I came out and announced that Frood was sent home and that the inaugural GSW Tag Tournament would begin on this episode. The first match was Walter White's rematch for the meme title, which he lost. In the main event, the Vitamins took on the team of Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin, animated sitcoms. This match was the first of the tournament and the Vitamins won and moved on to the next round. The 36th episode of Proclamation opened with Flying Mystery explaining his actions. He said that he would never be a joke ever again and that he would be coming for Frood. The first match was a continuation of the tag tournament as Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper, and Howard Wolowitz lost against DreamWorks, the team of Shrek and Poe. The main event was Flying Mystery's open challenge, which was answered by the Vegan Bruiser. Flying Mystery won the match in shocking fashion as he distracted Terry the referee and low blowed the Vegan before using his finisher and keeping the Vegan down for the 3 count. In the 37th episode, Frood declared that Flying Mystery would get a title match in the main event of the episode, but this was not a reward but an opportunity for Frood to teach Flying Mystery a lesson. The tag tournament also continued with the Bloody Goats taking on the team of Joker, 2019, and the Dark Knight Joker, collectively known as the Jokers, and winning with a tap out from Joker, 2019, thanks to Group 11's single leg Boston Crab. While in the main event, Frood retained his title as he made Flying Mystery tap to his Destroy Capitalism. Episode 38 saw double tag team action and Group 11's birthday. The opening match was a part of the first round of the tournament as the Accounting took on the Marvels, the team of Iron Man and the Black Panther. The Accounting advanced as BFG got the pin on the debuting Black Panther. The main event saw the Bloody Goats take on the Vitamins in the first semifinal of the tag tournament. Group 11 celebrated his birthday well as he made Omega tap to his single leg Boston Crab. The Vegan Bruiser was a moment too late in breaking the submission, which led to Omega arguing with him and leaving the ring alone. The next episode continued where the 38th left off as the Vegan invited Omega to the ring. His partner answered and told the Vegan that they should break up. The Vegan agreed under the condition that Omega would show him that he can make it on his own by beating the Vegan in the episode's main event. The opening match was the second semifinal of the tag tournament. This saw the Accounting take on DreamWorks. The Accounting ultimately advanced as Poe tapped to Rise and Grind's bear hug submission. In the main event, the Vegan Bruiser showed everyone that Omega could not beat him as he made Omega tap. In the pre-pay-per-view episode of Proclamation, Frood opened the show by calling out the Vegan Bruiser and offering him a title shot at the pay-per-view. Vegan was ready to grasp the opportunity, but Flying Mystery appeared to spoil the fun. FM claimed Frood would beat the Vegan swiftly, so he should get another shot instead. Frood solved the issue by booking the main event of the episode. If Flying Mystery could beat the Vegan again, he would be added to the match for the title, making it an elimination triple threat. The opening match was an 8-man battle royal to determine the number 1 contender for the meme title. Big Chungus won this match. Before the main event, the Bloody Goats came out to cut a promo before their tag title match at the upcoming pay-per-view, but it was cut short by an attack from the Accounting, who declared they would be the winners, not the Goats. Flying Mystery won the main event by count out. Frood berated Flying Mystery for the method of his victory, but FM's only response was that a win's a win. GSW Boiling Point opened with Big Chungus vs Jesse Pinkman, which ended with Big Chungus finally capturing the title as he made Pinkman tap. Next, we saw the culmination of the tag tournament as the Accounting took on the Bloody Goats for the Gaming Sunday tag titles. The match was fierce, but BFG ultimately tapped to Group 11's single leg Boston Crab, and with this the Bloody Goats became the first ever Gaming Sunday tag team champions. Group 11 also became the first man to capture both the Gaming Sunday World Championship and the Gaming Sunday Tag Team Championship, an impressive accolade. The main event was tense, but Frood triumphed as he first made Flying Mystery tap with the Destroy Capitalism and then made the Vegan tap with the same move. The post-pay-per-view episode opened with the new tag champions celebrating their victory, but things took a turn as Group 11 declared he had his sights set on becoming the first ever double champion in GSW history. The bad boy was not happy about this news. He thought that they should focus on defending the tag titles. The argument escalated as they argued about who did the most in the team and who deserved to fight Fruit, but they were interrupted by Rise and Grind. Rise and Grind declared that BFG was injured, and while he was away, Rise and Grind would be going after Fruit. Group 11 contested this and said Rise and Grind would have to get through him. Rise and Grind laughed and said that last time they fought he beat Group 11 so badly he became a tag team wrestler. This angered Group 11 greatly, so he challenged Rise and Grind to a match in the episode's main event. Omega entered the ring next and asked the Vegan for a rematch, which he accepted, and Omega got his win back as he made the Vegan tap with a vicious armbar. The Vegan acknowledged his partner as he raised his arm after the match. The main event was fierce as both men fought bravely. As the match wound down, it seemed Group 11 was going to win as he locked in his single-leg Boston Crab, but it was not enough as Rise and Grind escaped, and with a vicious rise and fall he kept Group 11 down for the 3 count. The 42nd episode of Proclamation opened with the bad boy. Group 11 was nowhere to be seen. He called out Rise and Grind and told him he would avenge Group 11's loss in the main event. The opening match was a triple threat tornado tag to determine the new number 1 contenders for the tag titles. The DreamWorks defeated the Marvels and animated sitcoms as Poe pinned Iron Man. The Vegan Bruiser made an appearance next and challenged Flying Mystery to a no-holds-barred match for the next episode to finally show him he was better. FM accepted, gloating as he did. Group 11 did not make an appearance as Bad Boy made his way to the ring to face Rise and Grind. Both men fought bravely, but Rise and Grind brought his A game as he kicked out of a stepdad knee and ultimately ended the match with a bear hug into Rise and fall combo, pinning the Bad Boy for the 3 count. Fruit appeared after the main event and declared that with his past 2 victories Rise and Grind earned himself the number 1 contender spot, but Fruit cautioned him that the title would still remain with him. On the 43rd episode, Rise and Grind and Fruit had a face-to-face and set up a warm-up tag match for the following episode. The opening match saw Jesse Pinkman become the first ever 2-time meme champion as he beat Big Chungus in his rematch. In the next segment, the Bloody Goats entered together and declared that they would focus on defending their tag titles as they requested a warm-up for next week's episode. In the main event, the Vegan took on Flying Mystery in a no-holds-barred match and finally beat that miscreant with a vicious submission atop a baseball bat. The episode of Proclamation before the pay-per-view opened with the Vegan challenging Omega to a match at GSW Origin, which he accepted. To everyone's surprise, this was not where the segment ended, as Fruit made his entrance and asked if either of them were willing to be his partner in the main event. The Vegan declined as he still wanted a one-on-one match against him, but Omega accepted. The Bloody Goats had their warm-up match against Big Bang Theory next. Everyone thought that the champions would easily dispatch this team, but in a shocking turn of events, the Bad Boy tapped after Howard applied 2 consecutive Wallowitz stretches on the exhausted Goat. Group 11 managed to break the first one but was just late to break the second. After the match, Group 11 berated the Bad Boy for tapping to that and left the ring without his partner. In the main event, Fruit and Omega took on the team of the Vegan Bruiser and Rise and Grind. Vegan and Rise and Grind ultimately won the match as Omega fainted after a vicious submission. Fruit managed to break the submission but mysteriously did not break the following pin, despite the opportunity to do so. GSW Origin was the show celebrating 1 year of Gaming Sunday Wrestling. It opened with Big Chungus's rematch and victory over Jesse Pinkman. Omega took on the Vegan Bruiser, and poetically the finish to their singles match was identical to the finish of the tag match that was held the previous week, as the Vegan pinned Omega after he passed out during a submission. As the DreamWorks made their way to the ring, the fans wondered whether the Bloody Goats would even show up, but to everyone's relief they appeared and everything seemed back to how it was between them. The Bloody Goats took on the DreamWorks for the Gaming Sunday tag titles and won as Group 11 made Poe tap with a single-leg Boston Crab. Shrek had an opportunity to save his partner, but he seemingly decided it was not worth it after all, as it may have been him who ended up in the vicious submission next. But the Bloody Goat celebration did not last long as Group 11 attacked the Bad Boy with a clothesline out of nowhere. In the main event, Fruit defended his world title against Rise and Grind. The match was brutal as both men showed resilience by surviving one of each other's finishers. The match was tight after that and full of back and forths, but Fruit ultimately retained his title with the Destroy Capitalism. Fruit opened the post-Origin episode of Proclamation, but was soon interrupted by Rise and Grind, who claimed that he deserved another shot at the title, but the Vegan Bruiser appeared and claimed he deserved a shot after what he did to Omega. Fruit used his genius mind to set up the episode's main event. It would be Rise and Grind versus the Vegan Bruiser, with the winner becoming the new number 1 contender for his title. Omega took the stage and declared an open challenge, which was answered by a returning BFG. Omega made the big man tap with his awesome armbar. Group 11 also made an appearance, his Bloody Goats gear nowhere to be seen. He said that the bad boy was dead weight and he betrayed him because the champion should not lose in a non-title match. The Bloody Goats were no more, and the titles were vacated, putting in the first ever Gaming Sunday Tag Team Championship reign at 6 Gaming Sundays or 42 days. But the bad boy had something to say as he made his way to the ring still dressed in Bloody Goats gear. The bad boy explained that their loss was due to Group 11's lack of focus and that he thought of Group 11 as a friend, that's why he was so quick to make their outfits. The segment ended with a vicious superkick as the bad boy challenged Group 11 to a match on the next episode. The main event saw the vegan pin Rise and Grind after a vicious match as the one full of style fainted after the vegan stretch. The vegan bruiser was the new #1 contender, he would finally get his one-on-one match against Fruit. On episode 46 of Proclamation, Group 11 took on the bad boy, who still wore the Bloody Goats gear. The match was brutal as expected, but Group 11 triumphed as the bad boy fainted while in the single-leg Boston Crab and was subsequently pinned. But Group 11 was not done as he assaulted the bad boy after the match with a steel chair. In the main event, Fruit had a warm-up match before his defense on the next episode. It was World Champion versus Meme Champion for the first time as Fruit took on Big Chungus. Ultimately, Fruit proved men were superior to memes as he made Big Chungus tap with Destroy Capitalism. The following episode opened with the vegan bruiser who expressed joy at finally having his opportunity to have a one-on-one match for the world title. But this joy vanished as a returning Magic Man interrupted the vegan and declared he would be using his rematch clause this episode. When the vegan contested this, Magic Man hit him with his deadly thumb. Magic Man declared he no longer had any ill will towards Fruit or the bad boy and that in the main event everything would be done by the book. But before the main event, the second ever Gaming Sunday Tag Champions were crowned as the only two teams to beat the Bloody Goats. The Accounting and Big Bang Theory took each other on. Ultimately, Rise and Grind made Sheldon tap with a bear hug and the Accounting became the new Gaming Sunday Tag Team Champions. Before the main event, an injured bad boy confronted Group 11 backstage. They argued until the bad boy kneed Group 11 in the face, but that only enraged him as the two men battled backstage. But before it got too far, I had security break them up and put them in a match on the next episode. The main event saw the long-awaited rematch between Magic Man and Fruit. Before any fists were thrown, words were exchanged. Magic Man promised the match would be a clean one and surprisingly kept his word. He also proved he did not need tricks to defeat Fruit as he captured the Gaming Sunday World Championship for the second time, ending Fruit's reign of 15 Gaming Sundays or 105 days. The 48th episode opened with a promo by the vegan bruiser who assured everyone he would be taking on Magic Man next, but he was not the only one as Fruit claimed the same thing. This set up a match for the following episode in which the true #1 contender would be decided. Next, Omega interrupted the celebration of the new tag team champions as he wanted a match with Rise and Grind, but he had other plans. He told Omega that if he beat BFG in this episode, Rise and Grind would face him in a match and Omega could choose the stipulation. If he failed to beat BFG, he would get another shot next week, and if he beat BFG, then Rise and Grind would face him the week after in a regular singles match. But if Omega lost both matches, Rise and Grind could pick the stipulation for their match. Omega agreed to these conditions but lost to BFG after a vicious BFB. The main event saw an injured bad boy take on Group 11 in an Extreme Rules match. A focal point of the match was a chair. At multiple points of the match, the bad boy preached to Group 11 as he held the chair in his hand, all while his former partner bled from his head below him. In the end, the damage done to Group 11 was too great as he was forced to tap to a vicious boy choke. The next episode opened with Magic Man, who claimed that he would be the eternal world champion as vengeance was a thing of the past. The first match of the show saw Omega take on BFG once more, but while this match was more competitive, Omega still failed to beat BFG. After the match, Rise and Grind grabbed a chair and the Accounting pummeled Omega. Group 11 took the stage next, a bandage on his forehead, and challenged the bad boy to a match at the pay-per-view. The bad boy appeared on the stage and the two brawled. The main event was intense. So intense that both Fruit and Vegan lost track of the count, so the bout ended in a draw, leaving us with no definitive #1 contender. The last episode of the first season of Proclamation opened with the fallout of last episode's main event as Fruit and the Vegan argued in the ring, but Magic Man interrupted them as he announced that both men would be taking him on in the main event of GSW Supernova in a first to two falls triple threat match. Rise and Grind had the opportunity to pick the stipulation against Omega, and he chose to have a 2-on-1 handicap match as the Accounting took on the lone Omega. But to everyone's surprise, Omega overcame all odds as he suplexed BFG and made Rise and Grind tap with the armbar. I made my way to the ring next as I called out the bad boy and Group 11 and set up their Hell in a Cell match at GSW Supernova. The main event saw Magic Man warm up before his next defense. The one who took him on was none other than Flying Mystery. While FM put up a much better fight than his last match against Magic Man, and even survived a deadly thumb, he still failed to win as a second deadly thumb led to a 3 count. The final show of GSW's first season was GSW Supernova. The opening match saw Big Chungus retain the meme title against Jesse Pinkman. Omega got himself a title shot at the tag titles by defeating the Accounting the previous week, but before the match started, Rise and Grind complained that last week he was injured and not ready and this time would be different. Omega's partner was a Mystery before the show and remained one as Flying Mystery joined him to take on the Accounting for the tag titles. The match was a lengthy affair full of twists and turns, but it ended in a shocking manner as Rise and Grind exhausted himself and could not lift his shoulder up after Omega pinned him after a simple counter. The ragtag team of Omega and Flying Mystery became the new tag team champions, ending the 4 Gaming Sunday or 28-day reign of the Accounting. The next match saw the Bad Boy and Group 11 fight in Hell in a Cell. The match was a brawl as the two men tossed and punched each other across the cell. That was until one of the walls broke down, then both men made their way onto the top of the cell. On the top of the cell was where Group 11 had to make a choice as the Bad Boy held him in the boy choke. Would he tap? He would not lose the match, but it would cost him honor. Ultimately, Group 11 decided to sacrifice his honor for a chance at winning. But the match continued atop the cell and Group 11 got his revenge as he made the Bad Boy tap out twice atop the cell with the single-leg Boston Crab. Group 11 made his way down back to the ring and the Bad Boy followed. It was Group 11 who won the match as he pinned the Bad Boy after a monstrous DDT. The main event saw Magic Man defend his title against Frood and the Vegan Bruiser in a 1-2 falls match. All 3 men exchanged blows, but it was the Vegan Bruiser who pulled ahead as he made Magic Man tap out. Magic Man was the next one to score a fall as he made Frood tap out with his full Nelson submission. Finally, Frood equaled the field with a vicious kick and a pin to Magic Man. The win was for the taking, but it was a pile driver to Frood which scored the Vegan Bruiser his second fall. The Vegan became the Gaming Sunday World Champion and ended Magic Man's eternal reign, which lasted 4 Gaming Sundays or 28 days. With that, Season 1 of Gaming Sunday Wrestling ended with a brand new World Champion, the Vegan Bruiser. We shall see how his reign fares in Season 2. See you soon.
Yes, I'll be seeing you soon.